oh sweet, this guy
Like
gave me the
I'm
death
amazed that
ring.
you
I'm
can ask if
invincible now.
if I want to hear about it, and then I say no, and you just say it anyway.
Because the thing is, there's two things, Reggie. One, I know how
Like
you are. Two, I love the game so
just to
much.
just to, but saying I'm not going to play it anyway is not a valid answer. I wanted to, and then you killed my interest in
But
it
you weren't gonna
by
play it.
doing
That's
that.
the thing, Reggie. I know
I
you.
don't have a Switch at the moment, but you know I can
He's
get
just
a
trying to
Switch
guilt
and
trip
play
you.
it. Like what the fuck kind of like what kind of logic are you operating on?
My logic is
Oh,
that this game is
you're
so
never gonna
good. You're
play it
never gonna
anyway.
play it because Reggie, you don't care enough about this franchise to care. It's I would understand if
Mark,
I would have spoiled
Mark,
Final
I
Fantasy
haven't.
remake.
Mark,
What?
Mark. He's just trying to guilt trip you.
No,
Ignore him.
I know that. I know that. So I'm
I
calling
was
him out on
not.
his BS and saying that he would
It's
never
not
play
guilt
it.
tripping any. I'm legitimately complaining that what the fuck is your logic on that?
Okay, Reggie, did you ever finish and beat Fates?
I don't have a 3DS
But how do you know about the story? Somebody you have to hear from
because
somebody how the story went.
I heard that the game was shit.
Uh
So I
huh.
looked up what the game was about
Uh huh.
because I was curious about it.
Uh huh.
But once I heard about it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's really fucking bad.
Okay, but you had to
This
find
one, I
out.
didn't have it. Three Houses, I didn't have any context. Nobody had complained about it yet. Nobody had said anything about it yet. I didn't look up anything about it. All I know is, oh, hey, a console Fire Emblem game. It must be good, right? The Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn games were pretty fucking good, from what I heard.
Those didn't
I never
perform
got a
well
chance
in
to.
the West,
I,
though.
I never got a chance to try those just because they were kind of rare to find. So there's that. I don't know a whole lot about the plot of those games outside of some fucking videos that talk about the individual characters. And then you're this brand new game. You're like, hey Reggie, do you? It's like, hey Reggie, I just played this game. It was awesome. Did you want to hear about it? No, like no, I'm kind of. I don't want to hear about it because I might play it at some point. Okay, cool. Well, this spoiler thing happened. Oh, this spoiler thing happened. Oh, this spoiler thing happened. Oh, but that doesn't really matter because that happens like really early. So it's not even that big of a spoiler. Oh, but then it all divides up into this, and if you play this route, you got to do all of this, and then you got this and that. And it's like what the fuck? I just told you no.
Reggie, here's your
Hey,
big
Daddy
problem though.
Mommy.
Here's your big problem. We live in a different age than we did when we were just kids playing the game.
I can still actively avoid something though, so that I don't ruin it for myself. And then you kind of took that away. There's one thing if I stumble
Mm-hmm.
across a thumbnail for a game that I'm already trying to play, and it says, "Oh yeah, Noctis and Luna Freya both die at the end." Find out how.
Usually
Oh,
the
it's
thumbnails
just like
spoil it itself.
yeah, I know, yeah. And then that was also the title too. It was just like, but like, yeah, like that can pop up, and I'll be like, "Oh my god, fucking shit."
It was gonna
But
happen
if
one way or another. That's the thing. I was
I
so
would
happy about
not
the
have looked
game.
it up.
It doesn't matter.
Hey, whatever.
It's
It would have
Fire Emblem.
appeared
You
in
should know of all
your
people, Fire Emblem stories
algorithm.
are not gonna be A plus
Uh,
material. You should already know that.
Depends, I guess, but whatever.
It's like
This
me
is an A
spoiling Super
minus
Mario
I
series.
Odyssey for you. Like you have to experience the
That's
game
a
for yourself.
fucking Mario game. It's not an RPG.
But here's the thing. Okay,
There's
Paper Mario. I
there's
could explain
Mario
to you
plus
about the
there are
Paper
Rabbids.
Mario stuff, and you would still have
Paper
fun going
Mario.
through
Yeah,
it.
that's something.
You could still have fun going
It's
through it.
not a complex narrative, but it is a narrative based game.
Same could be said for
RPGs
this
like
one. Same could be this. This is not something that's complex. It is just you play this game because you want to play it
This
for.
is A minus, dude.
whatever.
I'd
Fuck
argue
it.
B plus.
I'm not gonna dispute it. Three Houses is a shit game anyway.
I mean, your opinion.
So whatever.
I think it's an okay game. I enjoy it for what it is.
It's okay, but for what it was, for what it was trying to be, it's kind of shit, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
It's A minus. It needs work.
No,
It needs a lot of more effort put into it.
it's a B minus at best.
Better than
Presentate.
Oh, good.
The presentation is awful. It's just bland. There's no real effort put into anything outside of just the gameplay itself. The core gameplay is where all the effort went.
Wasn't the mouth movements during cutscenes matching up with what they were saying, but
There,
it would have been like
it
better
all
if
looks
they
like
had also done more movement.
most of it looks like stock footage for being a return to console for this franchise. They should have done more, but instead they decided to cut corners and be lazy.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not going to deny that.
Like a console-based game like this should have a significantly better presentation. At the very least, they could have done something to pace the plot, and in a way that's not just, oh, by the way, so this happened. Here's the report.
Or at least give them more time to more than just Blue Lions. Stuff you've already said before.
And like if the game's fully voiced, like literally everything has actual voice acted lines, how come they don't have anything, of actual substance to voice?
You have nothing to fear. However, to ensure that no harm comes
Eh?
to the students, we will also send them
Most of the content that I've seen is kind of pointless or not actually interesting.
I don't know. I think primarily, Reggie, you're probably giving this game way too high of a standard that it probably never had to begin with. Like we talk about Fire Emblem, and then you bring up a lot of Radiant Dawn and whatever the other Radiant game is, and Lindis, the game that Lindis came from. I'm like, okay, you keep throwing those games.
Well, that one's the only one I've actually played. Yeah. So as far as talking about gameplay, that's the only one I have an actual reference of from personal experience.
Do you feel like there's a little bit of nostalgia goggles going in there for like your expectations for how Fire Emblem games should be?
Not really.
I'm pretty sure those are just as.
I'm just saying, as a modern RPG, it should have a better presentation.
That I'll agree with you in terms of like you can see all this dialogue here, and it's reused animations for everybody. Yeah, I have said that before. That is disappointing.
For a game, sometimes use a little bit of tweaking
it's no different than just having static portrait images, except that it just looks
a little
worse.
Extra tweaking to make it look a little more unique, like when Bernie just passes out standing up. Her mouth is just agape.
Yeah, in that context, I can agree with you, Reggie, in terms of like presentation-wise. They really need to have stepped it up for a console game, but the rest of it is like I was able to deal with the story from Fates, and the story is not the greatest thing ever. We've had that conversation before.
I mean, the story from Fates is at least
Awakening was better story-driven.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Awakening was the better narrative out of them, just because it was like one singular thing.
And in context to this game here, I looking back at this game, it tried to do something, but it failed on a lot of different accounts. But at least they tried something here with something.
Yes, I will say they tried, and I do prefer that people actually try to do different. But like there should have been some sort of limit to what they tried, because it seems like all they did is try. They didn't actually strive for anything better.
Stuff they tried distracted from the other stuff they tried.
If they trimmed down a good portion of whatever was extra to this game, as far as the story and just mainly the story, because everything I've heard about it is kind of just meh.
All over the place.
Yeah, and there's no real focus given to any particular thing outside of Dimitri's whole redemption arc.
Mm-hmm.
From everything that I heard about it, the video that you showed me that just goes into detail about the entirety of the game.
There's
Uh,
also the tragedy of Edelgard, but
yeah,
it kind of
that
gets
she
overshadowed
should.
even in her own story.
Yeah, it is actually, and that's kind of sad. That should have been that should have been the crux of it. That should have been the focus of the game. That and Dimitri.
No
You
Claude.
know,
No Claude.
like, or if Claude's gonna be in the game and be like another root, well, fucking make his root matter, because it fucking doesn't. Half the game, or 2/3 of this game, is dedicated to one plot, and then the other third is like, oh yeah, by the way, so that like mysterious element that everybody is wondering about behind the scenes of the other two stories. Well, we're going to be dealing with that in here, and do absolutely nothing with it.
We're gonna give
We're
it to the meme squad.
Yeah, the meme
just gonna
squad.
chase after it. That's it. Like, cool. So what's the point? Like, I can
Well,
understand if they like made a DLC package to go to detail that part after. So,
but they
it's
never
like,
did that. That was unfortunate. I was
yeah,
expecting that to be DLC, like the final
right.
DLC for this game, but it
And that
never
should
did.
if that was the thing, it should have been like within the year. But no, nothing.
DLC stories for each ending.
Yeah, that would have been good. I would have been okay paying
Yeah,
$30 for that if that was the case.
I'd say that would have been worth 25.
Well, if they're doing three different endings and they flesh them out good enough, I would say $30 is more than enough
I,
because
I I feel like there'd be a way to corral them all to basically one story regardless, but then that would have been really bad also
that would have been a
because
Technically, it would
revelation.
have to be 4 DLCs because White Snow, but why would everybody want to go follow through with that one?
wait,
Unless
White
they're just
Snow?
horny.
Which which one was that?
The church route you get when you don't choose
I thought
Edelgard's
that was
side.
I thought that was Verdant Wind.
Nope, that is the one where you do choose to follow Edelgard. White Snow is when you don't complete all the arbitrary tasks and end up just sticking with Rhea.
Yeah, that's when you simp to Rhea.
Okay.
Anywho, I get your point, Reggie. You have a lot of expectations for a game in this day and age for this. I see where you're
Well,
coming from.
considering how hyped up it was, it should have had more. It's like the Watch Dogs of Fire Emblem.
But it did right, it knocked out of the park.
Yeah, they did that, but
It's a perfectly serviceable game. I still enjoy it. Like
it's serviceable.
here's the thing. I got my enjoyment from it because I enjoyed what the game gave to me. If the game was inherently broken, then that would be a different topic for a different day. But the
Yeah,
reason why I defend this game in terms of like the route I pick, because yeah, you meme on me for saying, well, why are you only play on one route? It's because the route I prefer to play as. It's like saying,
and
oh,
that is fair.
there's that, and this story after
He's
after I
got too much of a bromance for the one guy.
what to do.
I was gonna say the person he serves, but yeah, probably more to do is to be accurate.
Hmm. Yeah, I like to do. But like in terms of like the story, and we're ending this on this part by the way. We're not going to 11. This is like the last one, so we're just gonna look at our money hungry friend here for the time being. The thing is with the game, I enjoyed the game because there was a lot of the extensions from Fates that were brought here that I liked. I liked the battle system. The battle system was great. I like how the presentation with crits and the on-field stuff were. I like the options they gave you, the customization they gave me. The parts that I did not like were, I wouldn't say the story because the story is a problem when you just stop to think about it. Okay, that's when you really
And that's not that's
when the reason why
that's
I was such a fanboy and telling you at the time that I really enjoyed it is because that was me blitzing through the game and watching things and being like, oh, this and that. I was being fed the new info, and then when you stop to think about it, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of holes here. But I don't think I've ever gotten into any type of either like modern day cartoon or film or whatever that didn't have things that you think about that don't make sense. I don't think I've ever seen anything, me personally, where I've seen a story be flawless from beginning to end, with absolutely no loose ends in sight. There's
Well,
always going to be a problem
nothing.
if you
Well,
look hard enough.
yeah,
Sometimes it's better when
well,
there's a
yeah.
loose end.
Okay, my biggest problem with the game is the ending, where the ending just feels like, okay, I would like to experience those things you talked about. That's a problem. The other thing, reused animations. We just talked about that here. It's very clear that these guys were on a budget from Nintendo, that they had this certain amount of money. Here's the voice acting, but we cannot pay you to go ahead and make everybody stand out. We have too many characters to animate individually for their character. It needs to be carried by the
I'm
voices.
amazed that's what they focused on for spending voices.
Essentially, they were forced into the Game Freak route.
Yeah. So you look at it from that point of view, it doesn't forgive it, but it's understandable. Which if you go
Oh yeah,
from
I understand it,
if
but I
you
still have a problem with it.
you're perfectly okay from having that. I understand where you come from, but what I'm trying to get at is that you see those things, those factors. It is a little glaring, but I've been playing these type of games for so long. Especially, I'm more of a Nintendo geared person that I've been always used to kind of the stilted, reused animations from a lot of
Nintendo Gear.
yeah the Nintendo type of reused stock animations that I'm like, oh, this is pretty normal. I'm used to it. But then you look at stuff like maybe like I always use their Final Fantasy remake. You look how much polish that game has in terms of character interaction and all that. That's more
Well,
enclosed.
you can look at older games too, and they have more character to them.
Yeah, even stuff like Sonic Colors. The way they animate, they are very expressive. They are this, but I think they were in this game specifically. They were in a situation where they have so many of these different characters that if they bother to animate one independently, it's going to look bad for the other characters that are using reused stock animations. So that's why when you look at like the brief times they have the anime cutscenes, it's like, oh, that's like their only time to actually have these characters stand out, which is like what you only have what
Yeah,
between a playthrough four different cutscenes that are animated.
yep.
There's that. So you know
Which is kind of disappointing for a title like
Most
exactly.
characters don't even get to be in those cutscenes.
Yeah.
exactly. It's just lords.
And I know you run into a different problem where because this game is so customizing friendly, you can't just say, okay, well this character dies, they can't be in the scene, but we already animated with this character in here. That's why we have 3D models where you're able to pop in and pop people out. But if they don't want to put the time and effort into making those characters animate well, you kind of there's no point in it either.
Yep.
So I'm pretty much labeling a lot of your gripes of the game. I understand that. However, with those gripes in mind, the reason why I come back to this game is it's so darn fun to play. Like that is the biggest reason
And
for
that
it.
is fine.
And when whatever your feelings are on the spoilage of the game, I'm sorry. In hindsight, I was too happy for the game. I'm pretty sure you'll
Like
never be.
I like in general, I just don't like spoilers. If I seek out the spoiler myself, then it's whatever. But if I'm curious about something to experience myself, I don't want to be spoiled.
And that's why I didn't spoil Final
So
Fantasy Remake for you.
I'm glad you didn't, because if you did, I probably would have fucked.
You would have stopped talking to me for like a month and then said sorry and then slapped me and then I'd be like, I understand.
Yeah, probably because like
That game is
like
really
no.
important to you, I know. In terms of for nostalgic reasons. But yeah, that was one of like the first games audience that they're listening that I actually just could not like keep my mouth shut about that game or this game rather when it first came
Yeah,
out.
it kind of scared me every time you kept telling me, dude, have you finished it yet? Have you played it yet? Dude, you need to finish. You need to play that right now. You need to play it. You need to finish it, man. So I can talk to you about it. Yeah, I was like, you have no idea how scared I was that you were just gonna start talking about it anyway.
Oh, that's
Every time
power.
you kept
That's
on bringing it
power.
up, because
That
you
is
kept
power.
bringing it up so much.
Yeah, I was so excited to
I
talk with
was
you about it.
dude, I'm playing it, and I'm playing it at my pace. Like, leave me be.
You had to
I
keep
will,
that dark horse.
I will tell you once I finished it, because I'll be like, yo, dude, this game was so fucking cool.
Yeah, Reggie's talking about
You know?
Final Fantasy Remake. Is I had watched the movie cut of it And
Yeah, he did what everybody else does. They're like, oh hey, somebody posted everything on YouTube already. Cool.
gonna watch that.
Whoa,
Yeah.
dude, this game is amazing. I didn't play it at all, but yo, that was really
It looks
cool.
amazing.
Did you finish it yet? Like, excuse you? What? No. Shit like that takes time.
Reggie, I'm gonna just be very clear with you. I'm the type of individual that when SonicKamehameha first came out or was leaked, I watched it, and then it just got me more excited to play it because I was like, then I'll be actually able to do
And
something with it.
some people are like that, yeah. Like I said, like me personally, I just don't like spoilers.
And I can respect that now.
When it comes, yeah.
But back then,
So like knowing that you're somebody who's just gonna spoil shit for me, whether I want it to or whether I tell you no or not, kind of fucking scary when something that I actually do like comes up.
Which is not a lot, but I will remember that.
There's still plenty of stuff, but just like most of the things that you bring up is like, I don't really care. Like, go ahead, yeah, tell me, sure.
Dream kicked me out. What happened?
I didn't do anything.
But then like you end up like, oh hey, this game's really fun. Want to hear about it? No, I was like, no, I want to try it. I want to experience it myself. Okay, well, cool. But anyway, so this is all, like, just like.
Only for 3 houses. That's the only time that'll ever happen. Anyway, we had our good lengthy discussion.
Every time that happens.
We had a good lengthy discussion. This part's just gonna be called Angry Reggie Talks About Angry Reggie Stuff. And yeah, because we haven't done much for this part. This will probably
Meanwhile, Anna just stares at us, wondering if we're still alive.
Yeah.
She's wondering if we still have anything in our wallet.
Well, I just picked up this dildo. Anyway,
must be valuable. It's still covered in fresh juices.
Okay.
That's blood.
Okay, everybody. We'll see you guys next time for Xenoverse 2 and how it ends. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Then don't forget we got to